top 5 flute makers that I've found on the internet thus far. Really, I'm focusing on the people who will craft flutes that can play that really Odin pagan, native to the Isles and maybe a little further north, that truly ancient, the ones that can really make that sound, because that is one of the rarest things to find nowadays. You know, Native American flutes are everywhere, Asiatic flutes are everywhere. Those more modernized style penny whistles with the you know, more major scales and keys, those are everywhere, but they don't really have the right energy. And so these are not the top 5 out of every kind of flute. They're just kind of the top 5 that will play that kind of music that I'm focusing on. And you know, this is just what I found thus far. It changes every day. New person pops up here and there. There's no way that one person could scour the entire internet either. I'm going to be ranking them on several different things. Trustworthiness, number 1. You know, it's not just whether or not they send you what you order, but it's also what is the intent. It's very important in paganism. Someone makes it out of ill intent, whether it's disrespect to nature or whether it goes beyond that and it's pure sinister. Like literally, like they've put a hex on it or something. You start picking it up, playing with it. I mean, even if you cleanse something like that and then healed it, at the end it's going to ask to be left alone because of everything it's been through. All it's going to want to do is be buried, you know. So you know, did they make it out of pure intent? Can you trust them in that way? And obviously price, overall, just, you know, craftsmanship, special features, and variety. What do they make? How much do they make of it? What are the options? So this guy's name I always butcher. I'm really sorry. I can't. Reading it, you know, and trying to know what it sounds like by reading the name confuses me. So anyone who's Russian, somebody set me straight, because I can't say this. Sarogriv, I don't know, but Sarogriv wood is the name of this guy's Etsy shop. The problem is that unfortunately right now he's at the mercy of the Russian government. They will not allow him to sell online, but he's I believe Norse in origin, but he makes all different kinds of flutes. He makes Native American, Asiatic, you name it, he makes it. In fact, that's what a lot of what I like about it, because he will make anything in any key and any scale. How well they were made, that the sound of it just, I mean, in person, you know, it's even more amazing. But just the overall voice and sound of it is just amazing. I've got 2 here from him that I'm going to show you. Where's my other one? Yeah. There's one that's D sharp, which is this one that is it's a Norse style penny whistle. It's a little bit more difficult to play because it just naturally requires a lot of breath control. This one doesn't require really any breath control, and it is a forest flute, aka fallen branch flute, and it's made from a raw tree branch. I don't know if you can see that, the you know, divot there. You can just see that it's curvy from a raw branch. This one's G sharp, so we're going to do this one first. Well, look at that, the rain apparently approved of the flute. Started raining right when I did that. Notice the storms, sometimes the storms do respond. This one, Hungarian folk music, I think is what they go by on Etsy. I think eBay is a different one. They've got phenomenal quality as well. They've got several different styles of flutes and different instruments in general. The shepherds and penny whistles flutes are some of my ultimate favorites, especially because they've got 2.5 full octaves, which is unheard of, especially something that you don't have to worry about breath control at all. The easiest transition between octaves that I've ever had. The bad thing about it is, though, even though they've got wonderful, beautiful sounds to them, the bad thing about it is that they only typically do major keys. Now, this one happens to be B flat, which is a natural minor, but that's one of the only ones I've found that they do natural minors in. They do a bigger style flute in some kind of minor scale, but most of their stuff is you know, I wish they would do an E flat. I would purchase that in a heartbeat, but it is what it is. You know, you can't force somebody to make something that, you know, they're going for. Okay, what are most people wanting to buy it for? They're musicians, so they're not, you know, doing this because they're pagan. No, they're musicians, so they're going by, okay, what do most musicians want it to be? What key do they want it to be? So that they're just, what they're doing is they're trying to see, okay, what is most likely to sell the fastest, and that is why I think they primarily only make the ones in the major keys. But let me show you how this one sounds. You can do a lot of things on this. I can't even do it justice. The amount of things you can. I mean, that's one of my tippy top favorites, Hungarian folk. Even though they don't do many minor keys, just the overall mechanisms, quality, and genius, you know, features that they add to it. You can't beat that. Che or Che flutes, I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce that either. Ukrainian people help me out. I feel like I'm always butchering how to say everything, and I feel terrible because I don't know how to say any of these things. But they specialize in forest flutes. It's the amazing work that they do. Raw branch, fallen branch, Native American typically, and Ukrainian scales is what I've seen. And this one is a pentatonic minor E flat, and it's got half steps already built into it, which is nice. Anything that I've ever bought from them always has a really powerful, you know, energy to the voice of the flute. It's just got an overall phenomenal voice. And if you don't know, it's December 2022 as I say this. At this time, you would think that they would not be shipping worldwide still from Ukraine. They are. They are still shipping worldwide from Ukraine. So, if you want to support Ukraine and you want an amazing flute, it's a good way to do it. They could really use the revenue. Anything you purchase, no matter what it is, from whatever you purchase, they could really use the revenue. From grain to flutes, it doesn't matter. They just really need all the help they can get. And Che flutes has been something, actually I think it's quite new. I've actually not seen them in the years latter, so I really don't think they've been on Etsy for that long. I'm going to try to do this one justice and fail miserably because I'm still learning on it. I got it not too long ago. It's just got a really nice energy all around. Long rider flutes. That one is actually probably, for the quality, the cheapest you can find. It's actually cheaper than, and this says a lot because of the currency difference. Ironically, it's cheaper than the guy in Russia. This one is one of his Celtic style. It's a diatonic, but it's a minor key. This guy is another one that actually is willing to do minor keys. So it's helpful, you know, to anyone that you can find. The key is very difficult. E flat is one of my favorite keys. This one's E flat. That's the other one that I did earlier that was D sharp. That one is the same key. The one from the guy from Russia, same key. So they're just different style flutes. And of course this one is not as well made, but again, it's just, you know, for the price, you can't beat it, and the quality, it isn't half bad. Really, I mean, I've bought flutes that are triple the price and they're not as good as quality, so it's something to be said about Long Rider. I believe he probably salvages these from scrap wood. Nothing wrong with that. Reiner Flutes, I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce it. That is, I guess, the guy's name, but he goes by Jim's Horn Bio on Etsy, which I'm also not sure how to pronounce. German people, please help me out. I know I'm butchering everything I'm saying and I feel really bad, but he makes phenomenal Jim's horns, usually out of cattle horn. I've only seen him make 2 different keys, but this is a guy that, you know, specializes in something and only makes a few things, and he's so good at what he does, he doesn't have to make anything else. In fact, that right there, that little note right there, on is major, off is minor. That is all you got to do to switch it back and forth, which I think is genius. So, you know, on would be C or F major, depending on what key it's in, and off would be C or F sharp, natural minor. So, 9 holes altogether, gives you a bit more room to play around with the different notes and things. Ancient style fipple, which I appreciate, and it is eco-friendly domestic cattle horn, salvaged from, you know, animals that were every little thing that they could salvage, even the things that were not edible. Germany's pretty good about doing this, actually, salvaging. I wish other countries would do this more often. Salvaging any piece that is edible and eating everything that you can that's edible, and then anything that's not edible, even trying to salvage bone, teeth, skull, horn, everything. And he bought this and turned it into a flute. So, you know, it's amazing, really. Somebody just taking a loose horn sheath and turning it into something like this. So, it's got a really nice sound to it, very phenomenal sound to it. It's worth every penny, but it is immensely expensive because he's so good at what he does. Now, whilst it's not, you know, ear-piercingly loud or anything, it has a very bassy, vibrational sound to it. It vibrates the room kind of like a drum, you know, does. It goes right through you. You can feel it, and because it vibrates the room like that, it's gonna. If I'm sitting too close to the camera, it'll blow out the speaker on the recording. So I'm gonna have to scoot back a little bit. In real life though, it's amazing. Just the amount of sound that comes out of it, you can literally feel it vibrating the room. It's amazing. So yeah, it's got a very mystical sound to it. Everything that you imagine a Jim's horn being, it is.